Hello everyone. I am out for a walk. Hopefully I won't sound too breathy. I am currently walking up a hill. But I was thinking about something that people often say, particularly when they're hoping for the best but expecting the worst. And that is, if it's God's will. And because I've heard if it's God's will used in that way, it always made me afraid of God's will. So when we talk about Jesus in the Garden of Gethsemane, and he says, "Not my will, your will be done," it seems to also follow that format, right? Because you would look at it and you would say, clearly it wasn't Jesus's will to die in a horrific manner like he did, but God did it for the greater good. So when I say, "Not my will, your will be done," and something horrific happens, then that must mean God is doing something awful to me for the greater good. Now, I hope that sounded as crazy as it sounded to me. Like when you really sit down and think about it. Because the truth is, God is only good and only wants good for you. And while I know what some would say is, who's to say what is good? Putting you through a hard time could still be considered good. But having that mindset prevents a lot of people from really surrendering to the will of God. And so I had to come up with a new way to look at what does it mean to say, "Not my will, your will be done." And here's what occurred to me. Will is something we all possess. Some people will say they don't have any willpower, right? Because they do things they don't want to do, or they stop doing things they want to do. But all will is a director. It directs your power. So when I think about that, I think about will being the executive aspect of the mind and it directing power. So when I'm using my will, I'm the one that is directing my power. I am directing it based on whatever limited thinking I have. I'm directing it based on whatever beliefs I have. I'm directing my power in a way that fits my logic. But when I say God's will, well, God is omniscient. God knows everything there is to know. God is omnipresent. God is everywhere in everything. God is omnipotent. Omnipotent is all the power. I should have said omniscience, omnipotence, and omnipresence. It is all. Doesn't have characteristics. It just is. And so, would I rather me direct my power, or would I rather the Omni direct my power? So now, when I say Not my will, your will be done. Speaking about God, I'm saying you direct me. You direct me to what my desire is. You direct me, because my will may take me the long route. It may take me the route that goes over the valley and through the woods and across the hard spaces. Whereas if I say your will, speaking to the Omni, the one that knows all, that is all knowledge, the one that is all power, the one that is all presence, then not only will I make it to my desire, but because my thinking is limited, I can allow God to open me up to even more. So the next time you hear someone say, if it's God's will, just say a little prayer, hoping that that is a true prayer. Because if it's God's will, that means you are stepping out of the way and allowing God to direct your power. So don't be afraid to say, it's not my will, your will be done. Because God's will is for your good. God's will is in alignment with the good of the universe. God's will is in alignment with what's good for you. God's will be done.